When you hear about Purdue college basketball, the first player that probably comes to mind is the tallest player in Big Ten history, the colossal anchor Zach Edey. One of the reasons Purdue has been so dominant this season is the Boilermakers point guard Braden Smith, the Robin to Edey's Batman. Height is might. The old saying in basketball is still relevant in today's game. Basketball has been revolutionizing, especially the point guard position. We have floor generals like Ben Simmons who stand over 6'9", while undersized guards are slowly becoming extinct and ultimately disrespected, and 6' Braden Smith is definitely one of them. Despite putting up consistent numbers for the Boilermakers, Braden has been constantly getting overlooked. As a sophomore, he put up elite numbers: 12.5 points, 7.4 assists, and mind this, 5.4 rebounds per game as a 6-footer.
Smith turns the corner again and scores again.
Definition of might over height. He wasn't even in the initial top 10 finalist list for the Cousy Award, an award given to the best collegiate point guard in the country. Talk about disrespect. But Braden couldn't even care less about winning awards. He just wants to win. It fuels him to be the best basketball player he can be, and in just 2 years at Purdue, he became one of the best point guards who donned the Boilermakers jersey. Braden Smith has elevated his game to elite status despite being one of the smallest point guards in the NCAA. But just how good is Braden Smith actually? Mark Price, Kemba Walker, Tim Hardaway Sr., Chris Paul, and Allen Iverson. These are just a few of the greatest 6-foot guards who overcame adversity and led their respected teams, and Braden Smith is aiming to join that list. Born in Russellville, Arkansas, Braden has basketball running through his veins. Braden started his basketball journey at Westfield High School, in the northern suburbs of Indianapolis, a high school not known for its men's basketball. Ever since he was a kid, Braden's been watching the Westfield's basketball games. He's seen the ups and the downs of that team and made a promise to himself that he's going to make the varsity team and make the difference. And so he did. He became the star player in just his sophomore year. In his junior year, he instantly became a legend, averaging 22, 6, and 5, leading Westfield to their very first sectional championship and being named Indiana Mr. Basketball. Braden single-handedly changed the basketball culture there at Westfield. His stellar performance in high school earned him a 3-star recruit status. His major downside? His size. At 5'10", he was still too small to guard players in his position. He wasn't given many offers from major D1 teams. The only college basketball program that saw his potential? Purdue. Purdue's basketball program has established itself as a formidable presence within the competitive landscape of the Big Ten Conference. While consistently securing berths in the NCAA tournament, the Boilermakers have encountered periods where their performance left something to be desired, seemingly content with mere participation rather than fierce competition. Since their debut in collegiate basketball in 1980, Purdue has yet to clinch a championship title, with their lone appearance in the finals dating back to 1982, in a elapsed span of 32 years. Since then, Purdue's most notable postseason performances include reaching the Elite Eight in 1994, 2000, and 2019. However, their journey through March Madness hasn't always elicited fear from opponents as they face challenges in asserting dominance on the national stage.
Smith to the corner, and that's good for February. How tough he can be on the ball. Gillis.
Once again, Braden Smith has a tall task to change the culture once again, this time at a higher level. Smith burst onto the scene in his freshman year at Purdue, immediately assuming the pivotal role of starting point guard. With the reins of Purdue's offense firmly in his grasp, he wasted no time in making his mark. In a thrilling college debut against Milwaukee, Smith electrified Purdue fans with a dazzling display of skill and athleticism. Notching an impressive stat line of 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and an astonishing 7 steals, he left no doubt that he was a force to be reckoned with, showcasing his ability to fill up the stat sheet in spectacular fashion. From his first game, you could tell he just laid it all out on the court. He compensates for his lack of height and raw power by putting his body on the line, creating more opportunities for offense. The smallest guy made the biggest presence on the court. All season long, Smith has been filling up the stat sheet and, most importantly, the intangibles. He's got antics on the floor. He's just going to show you that he's the best with the energy he brings and how he pushes the pace. In his first season with Purdue, he averaged almost 10 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds per game, shooting 38% from beyond the arc. Despite Purdue getting eliminated in the first round of the tournament, fans were excited about their future. The Boilermakers now have their point guard for the next 4 years, plus they have their superstar in Zach Edey coming back for 1 more year, giving them the chance to finally make that deep run in the tournament. In his second season at Purdue, Smith balled hard. He improved in every facet of the game. With a larger role on the team, he spearheaded their offense and facilitated the ball efficiently, dishing out 7.5 assists per game.
Wide open 3 for Braden Smith.
He's also one of the top rebounding point guards in the league, averaging about 6 rebounds per game. But the biggest improvement in his game? His offense, especially his efficiency from the field. In his first season at Purdue, he shot 38% from 3, which is impressive for a freshman. But in his second season, he improved drastically, shooting at an elite mark of 43%. One aspect of his game that often flies under the radar? His persistent defense. Don't overlook his defensive ability, as he possesses the capacity to disrupt opponents' flow and wreak havoc on the defensive end. He's a relentless defender, making every basket hard-earned and leaving opponents frustrated with his persistent pressure. With Smith evolving into a superstar at Purdue, he became the perfect fit to support the 7'4" Edey. These two single-handedly fueled Purdue's high-powered offense. Purdue locked in the first seed in the Big Ten Conference with a 29-4 record, tying their record from last season. In the realm of college basketball, Purdue emerged as a formidable force this season, with Smith playing the best basketball of his life. However, February brought a surprising twist when the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame overlooked Smith from the top 10 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award. This decision raised eyebrows and sparked a wave of debate across the basketball community. Responding to the snub, Boilermakers coach Matt Painter channeled the wisdom of legendary Indiana coach Bob Knight, saying, "Basketball is watched by millions, but understood by few." But Smith, undeterred by the setback, continued to elevate his game to unprecedented heights. With each dazzling performance, he etched his name into Purdue's history books, culminating in a record-breaking 208th assist of the season. This remarkable feat could no longer be ignored by the committee. As March rolled around, the do-over list emerged, and there, among the nation's elite point guards, stood Smith. Rubbing shoulders with the likes of Tyler Kolk, Tristan Newton, Mark Sears, and Jamal Sheed, Smith's inclusion underscored his undeniable impact on the game. Remarkably, he stood as the sole non-senior to grace this prestigious lineup. Talk about making a statement.
What ball movement to find Braden Smith for 3.
This is what Purdue does to start the second half a lot of time.
Smith and Edey were named to an All-American watch list by the U.S. Basketball Writers of America. Superstars are really aligning at Purdue. Braden's tournament journey was nothing short of sensational. Purdue's rampage began with a thunderous victory over Utah State, leaving them in the dust by nearly 40 points. But it was in the Sweet 16 where Smith truly stole the show, orchestrating a masterclass with 14 points and an astonishing 15 assists, showcasing his sheer dominance on the court. Purdue emerged as the undisputed powerhouse, steamrolling past opponents like Tennessee and NC State to secure their first NCAA Finals appearance in nearly 4 decades, a historic moment in Purdue history. In just a brief stint of 2 seasons, Smith has single-handedly reshaped Purdue's basketball landscape, infusing the team with relentless energy and positioning himself as the cornerstone of its offensive. His unparalleled hustle, unwavering determination, and intangible qualities have become the foundation of Purdue's success. However, Purdue's story met an abrupt halt in the finals against the formidable UConn Huskies, falling short 60-75. Yet with Edey's departure from the NBA draft, all eyes now turn to Smith, poised to step into an even larger role come his junior year, a mantle he's primed to carry as the undisputed face of Purdue's basketball future. Despite Smith's significant strides in his sophomore campaign, his NBA draft prospects are only experiencing a modest uptick.
Surprised. And Smith buries it from downtown.
With projections placing him towards the latter part of the second round. The primary area of contention? Undoubtedly, his physical stature. Scouts cast doubt on whether the 6-foot, 180-pound dynamo can effectively defend against the taller, more imposing point guards of the NBA, raising concerns about potential defensive liabilities that his offensive may struggle to offset. But people forget that he's a spark plug. He brings energy, and many teams in the NBA need that coming from their bench. Think about guys like Jose Alvarado, TJ McConnell, and Peyton Pritchard. These are relatively small players that play pesky defense while maintaining a very efficient performance on the offensive end. Smith has 2 years to fully develop in college and perfect his three-point shot. His facilitation can even level up a notch next year when he becomes the primary leader for Purdue. And expect him to get those sneaky boards while he can. He just has the ferocity to battle it out with the greatest backup point guards in the league. If I were those NBA scouts, I'm going to keep a close eye on Braden Smith next year because he might be the greatest sleeper pick in his draft.